What's going on, guys? And today I have a Dilibet piece from one of my favorite games, Epic7. This piece actually took me quite a while to do. If you've been following me recently, I've been trying to do more fluid, more dynamic kind of drawings, trying to get something that looks a little bit more eye-catching and a little bit more correct. I've been doing a lot of training with shapes and flour sacks and all sorts of stuff, just trying to make sure that my pieces look a lot better, a lot more nice. This is kind of my second attempt at using more center lines, being more fluid with things. I've even trying out a different kind of facial structure. I usually do a kind of half line in the middle. I bring out down the jaw, and then I follow that line. I make everything kind of just like perfect, almost like for like where the eyes and mouth and nose should be. And honestly, I kind of want to be a little bit more rough with these kind of things, at least for now. So I'm starting to draw more rough lines, kind of as a guideline to show where the eyes and the eyebrows may be, and see how I kind of like that. And so far, the last two drawings I've done, I think they turned out pretty decent. But yeah, here's the center line for what I'm doing. I'm trying to do a more striking pose. This is the most daring pose I've done so far. I'm gonna have her kind of have one hand behind her head holding an object, while the other one's kind of in the air, while also balancing with gravity with the feet, kind of having it a little bit more forward, but then having that the back kind of leaning slightly, just to kind of keep everything balanced. And I think it turned out really well in the end. Just doing a little refinement here, just kind of eyeballing things, really just kind of seeing where I like it. If I need a little bit of adjustment here there, that's no problem. I do a lot of fine detail in this kind of phase before I put like the clothing and stuff on, just so I have a nice idea where I want to have the shading. Where is the light really hitting this character? Where is it going to be dark? And from what I've been doing here, it seems that the light's going to be more so on the left side, and it's kind of more shaded on the right side. I'm adding a little bit more finer detail on the legs. I'm not great at the limbs. The limbs are really challenging for me. So if it doesn't look exactly right, that's okay. We can cover it up with a little bit of clothing. It's not a big deal. But the character I'm doing is Designer Dilibet from Epic7. I play Epic7 a lot. I've been playing it for a year straight now. My friend kind of showed me it a long time ago, and it's a really fun gacha game that I enjoy playing. Just collecting characters, fighting PvP. This is one of the first characters I got when I first joined. It was a very special character to me. So they're getting a buff in the game that I play. So I decided, hey, no time like the present. Let's kind of do her a little bit of justice here and kind of do her in my own kind of style, my own kind of design though. I'm trying to follow the character design, at least the hair and stuff like that, to as much as I can, with the eyes as much as I can. But she typically has white hair, and she has her own kind of clothing and all this. But I like to freeball all this and kind of just do what I want to do. I'm not very good with clothing, but I kind of have a general idea of what I'd like. I just kind of freeball it, see what sticks, see what works, see what doesn't. In the last video, if you've seen that, I talked about the chest area and how I'm not outlining it anymore, and I think that's a good decision. I kind of like how it looks now, but I think it looks pretty decent, but I might change it up again every once in a while. I'm not sure. The clothing, I think I've been getting slightly better at it. I'm actually really proud and pretty happy with how this one turned out in the end. I'm getting a lot better at kind of adding those folds and adding depth to the clothing, at least like in a dress kind of style. And I added a nice little belt just to kind of show all the folds are kind of crumpled in one place as it kind of goes up. And I'm trying to show that the right side's a little bit more wavy, just slightly. It's not too much, because the hair is not really moving a whole lot, so I'm not trying to go overboard or anything like that, but just to show that it's moving just slightly. I think with the dynamic kind of center line that I have, just kind of coming down and being a little bit more wavy, it helps with the clothing kind of pop it out a little bit more, because now not only is my design just inherently more more fluid. Now my clothing is too. I kind of got a nice little rough outline of what I like to do. I'm going a little bit crazy with the shading and the clothing, because that's just because I was having a lot of fun with it. This is kind of like the final thing on like the dress, the kind of final shading. But next time I think I might like to go in and add another layer of coloring, just one more shade of light, just a little bit more shiny, just to highlight those highlights, especially on the left side. I think the left side could do with just showing just a little bit more brightness. So for next time, I think I'll try that out. I don't necessarily like how it looked when I did give it like a small shot. Giving it a full, fair, honest try might be the way to go. But yeah, so what I like to do is I start out with the body, and then we kind of get into the clothing, and then I'll do the hair. But I didn't really know what my arm was gonna do at the start, so it had it back there behind the head. So I was like, I'll just do the hair first to kind of see how that all morphs together. So usually I do the hair at the end, but this time I decided to kind of go with the flow here. And with this, the back hair was a bit challenging for me. I had two different ones that I wasn't sure which one I wanted to keep, but I decided to keep the first one and just kind of add a lot more shading to it. She has a lot of hair in the back, so it's really hard to shade all that in. So I was trying to make it like super flowy with the second one, and kind of all over the place, but I was like, it kind of looks really messy. So I kind of want to keep it all in one almost clump, and then add a lot of shading to show the depth of strands of hair. That's kind of what I was going to do. But yeah, so now I am adding her weapon. She has a giant scissor as a weapon, but I'm just gonna do one of them, one half of the scissors, and kind of have it as a giant sword that she's holding. Just going really rough with this. I'm not looking, it's not the main piece, but just add a bit of shininess, and then just make it roughly look like what it needs to be. People, I don't think immediately you look at the sword, I think immediately you look at the person. So not being super detailed is fine in this instance. I already spent a long time on this piece, and I liked how simple the sword was, so that's kind of where I kept it. And then now I'm kind of working on, this is kind of the point where I'm at right now is kind of the refinement stage. I have kind of everything that I want, generally how I like it. So now what I'm going to be doing is kind of adding shading into all the areas that need it, and outline. I've been doing a lot of outline work recently, and I find that helps really pop out the character. It takes a long time to do. It's really annoying, especially with the canvas size that I use. I use quite a large one, so it takes a long time, but I think it's worth it in the end. It really pops everything out. The first step, just kind of going through all the hair, the clothing, the body, just kind of getting everything outlined just to get it popping. And then after that, we're going to go in and probably add some dithering, adding just a bit of dithering in kind of the limbs area and also the chest area. Just kind of add, you know, a little bit of a breakage in the monotony of the piece, right? So I have just like these 3 layers of shading on the clothing, on the arms and the legs. I can either add maybe some more ripples or something a little bit more eye-catching, a little bit more fun in there, or I can add a little bit of dithering. And I like to dither. I've been trying to kind of find a best way to use it. I've been using it more, not so freely and not so abstract, really having just the exact way I want to put it. In doing so, I think it looks pretty good that way. So I've been enjoying it. I'm going to keep doing it for a while. Not really sure how long I'll do it, or if I want to change it up and maybe just use ripples completely, but I find it helps break everything up. Now I'm kind of working on the arm here. I noticed that it was a bit too straight for my liking, a bit too stiff. So I just moved it a little bit to the side just to show at that elbow joint it's slightly moving, just a little bit. Like obviously you can't move your arm that much out, but we're gonna exaggerate a little bit here just to kind of show that we have something going on there. It's okay to exaggerate a little bit. I think like being too scared to have everything not exactly right is a death sentence. I think you can do a lot with just adding a little bit of something that's not entirely correct. So yeah, here, like I said before, we're in the refinement stage. We added all that dithering. We're adding a little bit of like a heart kind of hair thing in the back, just kind of something a little bit cute. Just adding a little bit more shading where I want. Typically, I would have ended this piece about like an hour ago. I've been really enjoying taking my time and not rushing things. And I think that's working out really well for me, because whenever I rush things, there's something that I know I could have done a little bit better, and just a little bit of refinement goes a long way. I'm really happy with how the piece ended in the end, because I took my time and just kind of cut the things I didn't like out. This is pretty much my entire piece. I'm just kind of adding a little bit, like the facial structure for me was kind of bothering me a bit, so I wanted to go back and change the eyes a bit, and the jaw was just a little too fat for me. I didn't really like it, so we just came back and we just kind of changed it a little bit, and that change really kind of made it a lot better for me. I really enjoyed how this looked. So now at this moment, I'm kind of done almost everything. I just want to add a little bit more eye-catchiness on the arms. I noticed they're pretty plain, so we're just gonna like a little brooch here, and then we're gonna add like just some arm sleeves, and then after this we're just gonna be kind of doing a background. I'm not a big fan of doing backgrounds, honestly. They're very time consuming if you want to do like a really cool one, and it's not really what I'm into. So I usually just kind of do something plain like this in the back, just kind of showing the character more. Sometimes I really have fun doing backgrounds, but for this instance, I was like, I'm all right. I'll just kind of, you'll see in a bit, I try to add like shapes and stuff to the background, kind of add like a little bit of a break in just kind of how dry and bland the back looks. But honestly, it was like okay, and I decided like, here's the shapes. I decided, I don't really like this that much, but I erased it. It's just added a little bit of brightness in the background. But anyways, this is basically my piece. I really had a lot of fun doing this, and if you guys like this, please like and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. And also check out my Twitter. I post everything there, everything I do. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.